The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good afternoon. It's Thursday. It's almost the weekend. Glad you guys could join us today. It's a minute before, so I did want to check with our group that is currently in the webinar if you can hear my voice. If you can raise your hand in your webinar panel, it's either going to be at the top or on the side of your webinar panel. Good. A lot of hands going up. All right. I'm going to put your hands down. And then if you see the screen, currently it says housekeeping, if you'll raise your hand again. Awesome. That's great. Okay, I'm going to put your hands down. We're going to start in just about 30 seconds. We do have about 50 signed up today. Currently have about 15 or 20 on. So we should have some more joining later. So let's go ahead and introduce our webinar. It is NCEES webinar, Expanding the Pathway to Professional Development 2020, Part 2. We had Part 1 last week. The bit.ly for today's slides is posted in your chat. It's also on your screen right now, so if you want to copy this down and put it in your URL, you can follow along in your slides, open it up, and you can take notes below the slides if you like. But the bit.ly is bit.ly/ and then lowercase NCEES 2020 uppercase PD lowercase part PART and then the number 2, and that will get you to today's slides. I have also PDF'd today's slides, and they are in your handout section of your webinar panel if you'd like to download that. Some people have more success with the links by downloading the PDF and opening it up and accessing the links from there, because we will be having some activities that we'll be doing today. All right, and we just checked if people could hear and if you could see the screen. If you have any questions today, at the very end of the webinar, we will open up the sound for you guys to ask questions out loud. But right now, if you have any questions, please put them in the questions area of your webinar panel. The items that I have put into chat, it depends on your view where you're going to see them. Some people will see questions /chats, and the chats will show up there. Or you have a panel like the gray one on the screen in front of me, and you can see the chat from there. But do put your questions in the questions panel. There are documents on today's subject. They are in the handout section. I have 2 guides out there, one for Transfer Credit Manager, one for PD Playlist, plus today's slides. All right, and also in the chat, if you're having any audio issues, usually the quickest fix, and I know people can't hear me if they're having audio issues, but is to log out and log back in and make sure you select computer or phone. You must select an audio choice to have audio during the session. If that's not working, there are a 1-minute YouTube video you can watch, and there's a help link from GoToWebinar. So please go follow those. We do have people on helping with questions. They'll try to help with sound, but usually you're going to have to troubleshoot that on your side of things. All right, and so today I am Cami Nairn. I am the NCEES Education Product Consultant with NCDPI in the Digital Teaching and Learning Division and with the home-based team. So I do work with all the home-based products, but I do manage your North Carolina Educator Effectiveness System. And joining me today are Kathy and Kimberly, and I'll let Kathy introduce herself first.
Yes, I'm Kathy Oliver, and I'm the Regional Education Facilitator for the Southeast region, working with Teacher of the Year, Principal of the Year, Teacher Working Conditions, Beginning Teacher Support. Prior to this position, I was the Professional Development Coordinator for Brunswick County Schools, and I lived in NCEES, and I loved NCEES, and we housed all of our professional development in NCEES. And certified staff were able to monitor their transcripts as often as they needed to and take ownership of those transcripts. And it was just a lovely process when it was time for a licensure renewal. So again, I hope that you can become as passionate as I am about NCEES, and I hope you enjoyed today. Thank you.
All right, and then Kim, if you'll introduce yourself. Thank you, Kathy.
Hi there. Good afternoon. My name is Kimberly Simmons. I am the NCEES coordinator for North Carolina, and it's great to see everyone joining us today. I mostly work on the policy, process, and procedure side of things, whereas Cammie works more with the product, the online tool, and we work together as a team to try to provide support for educators across the state. Particularly, my support is for principals and HR and superintendents.
Thank you, Kim. And we'll all be monitoring your questions out there, so do get your questions in as they come up. So today on our agenda, we're going to review a little bit of what we did in part 1 with the PD office, and then we're going to complete viewing those roster buttons, because we did look at 4 or 5 of those in part 1, but there are many more. So we're going to finish reviewing the roster buttons when you create a course in your PD office and you go view that roster. So we're going to look at those buttons. Then we'll look at what the learners see in the professional development and the My Courses tab in NCEES, and then show you how the different ways to view transcripts in the system, especially if you're an administrator. How do you go see somebody's PD transcript? And then the main focuses for today is that transfer credit manager. How can you get CEUs entered from your staff into transfer credit manager that's different from putting it in a PD office? And then the PD playlist. Once you've created courses, or maybe you have access to the DPI courses as well, you want to create a playlist of courses for your staff, such as your beginning teachers, and they're called something new now, residency teachers. They used to be lateral entries. But different groups, think about your staff groups and how you can create professional development as a playlist for them. And then we'll talk a little bit about Kathy's going to talk about how she planned for the next school year when she was at Brunswick County, and just some ideas for how you might plan for the upcoming year. And then we have some resource slides at the end for you. Depending on how quickly we get through, I don't know if we can look at all of those, but there's plenty of resource slides down there. We have plenty of extra slides built in today. We will be spending a lot of time in the live side. All right, so we did create a course for today, and Kathy's going to talk about that because we wanted to award you an actual certificate in NCEES. So I'm going to turn it over to Kathy.
Yes, so if you look at this slide and click the link, or go to the link my.nceedcloud.org, and I'm sure many of you are familiar with that. We are going to register for this course, and we want to show you how easy it is to register. I just, when we set up the course, the building that course out took me no more than 5 minutes, and now it's an opportunity for you to register. And when you do, you will plug in your 10-digit UID number along with your password when you go into and you access the nceed.cloud.org. Once you are there, and Cammie's she's demonstrating that on the screen, and we really want you to feel this process because it's a very easy process for anyone to register for the courses that could be sent out from a director or a principal. So that 10-digit UID number that's very specific to you, it's almost like your social security number, and your password. So once you're there, you are going to find the Power School icon, and you will see it's just a big P, and you will recognize that Power School icon. I know Cammie's her screen is stalling just a little bit, but there it is. So Unified Talent, NCEES with the Power School icon. If you will tap on that. And again, this is just really important to educate all certified staff in this area, because this is where, notice at the top, you have your evaluations, and you have your professional development, and Cammie's going to talk a little bit about the playlist. So this area is just super important. Today we're going to tap on the professional development tab, because we're going to register for the course within that tab. And it's simple. In course search, I'm going to type in the number 15263, and I'm going to repeat that, 15263, because that's the course that I created within NCEES. Tap search, and of course it's going to find that particular course for us, and there we are. And I'm going to select the blue link, and you will see that today is our date, 5/14/1. And I'm going to tap on that live blue link and register for the course. It's going to ask me, are you sure you want to register? Yes, I want to register. And so here again, I'm going to hit next, because it's a confirmation page, and you're in the course. So now you're actually on the roster. It's that immediately. It populates quickly to the roster, and then at the end, before we even leave today at 3 o'clock, you will have your 0.2 CEU credits if you're on this course with us. So we appreciate you registering, and you definitely deserve those awarded CEU credits. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. All right, so the next thing we want to make sure you have, I don't see any questions coming in yet, so we're going to move on. We are going to actually get you a training account. If you joined us for part 1, you already have one out here, so you know how to get to the training accounts. This bit.ly is also in the chat, or if you have the slides open, just click on the link here, and we're going to go out to the spreadsheet. So let's let that load up. And notice there's a block of names for principals, and each principal has 3 teachers that they have access to in the training site. And we want you to have a block of a principal with 3 teachers. So just choose a block and put your name in it. Don't overwrite somebody else's name, because they can use these through June, and you can use yours through June. Just keep scrolling down. There are plenty of accounts out here until you get to an open space. Well, we got a lot of people. All right, so you're going to have to go all the way down, looks like, to the 200th row, somewhere in there, 62, to start putting names in if you don't already have. Do you have to get one of these today? No, you can follow along just by watching if you'd like, or stay in your live system, but just watch us as we do. If you have rights, then you're welcome to follow along in your live system. But I want you to have a principal, and the login username is in the blue color, the teal blue color. So you need to get this principal name, and you're also going to need to have the training password, which is train with a capital T, then DPI is capital letters, 19-20. So make sure you have this. Keep this tab open, because we do have a couple of activities where you're going to come out here and get the last name of your teacher and maybe add them to your course as a participant or as an instructor. But that was part 1. But we're going to be using it in the, you need to add them to your PD playlist, or maybe put in something for Transfer Credit Manager. So we will be using these last names as well. But right now, you're just going to need the principal. So I'm going to click on that, and I usually just copy it out of the URL bar up there. And then I want you to click on the training link. It's ncdpitrain.truenorthlogic.com. Our system was originally called True North Logic, so this URL still has that name in it. So just click on that. Oh, and this is an issue that some people have. I have it in certain areas. When you click on this, sometimes it puts a little link down below, and you have to click on the little link. And you should get to our NCDPI train.truenorthlogic.com. And the link is in the chat, so do check the chat. They can also, my helpers can post it in your question, maybe publish it to everybody, send it to everybody so they can see it in the questions area as well. And then you're going to put your principal username. just paste it right in there. I'm going to go back and get the password. I have so many passwords, I can't keep them all memorized. And I'm going to put the password in. So I'll give you just a second to make sure you're getting there. Let me check the questions real quick. There was not a next button on the PD page. So Kathy, you'll have to check that and see if she's already registered. Or you may need to zoom out, Joan. It may have fallen off the page if you're zoomed in too far. And then how do you reach, I don't know which page you want to get to, Indira. Sorry if I'm saying your name wrong. So to get to the training accounts, we are on this slide with the bit.ly for NCEES PD training accounts. But Ms. Waldron, you may want to clarify your question is exactly which page you need to get to. So when we got to the spreadsheet, you were to pick a group if you want to follow along, and then get your principal username, navigate to the training site with the link above, put in the principal username, and then put in the password. Once it's there, I'm going to click log in. All right, and then I just want y'all to hang out there a while. So if you're in the site, yay. We'll work with anybody that's having trouble, and you guys just stop me if we need to, and we'll redo some of the steps. So I'm going to go back to the slides just a minute. All right, so I just wanted to review from part 1 about the PD office, what it is. PSU, or public school units, those are LEAs and charters, must be opted into home base to set up and use the NCEES PD office. You automatically get evaluations in NCEES, but to get a PD office in NCEES, the district has to be opted into home base. And inside the PD office, where you can build out your local PD and award credits for your local PD that you're doing, you can have these roles. There's the PD office administrator, of which I need to set the very first one for your district. And then this PD office administrator can assign these other roles. So the PD office administrator can create and manage any course in the system. They can create a course and not have to get approval for it. There is a role for a course requester. They can create a course, but their course must be submitted for approval. So who can approve that course? Not the PD office administrator, unless you give them the final role of final approver. So the final approver role can approve what's been submitted by the course requester. So the PD office administrator, you can have more than one role. So they can be both final approver and PD office administrator. Depends on how large your team is and how you want to set that up in your district. And then just some questions as you're thinking about setting this up. Who needs to be on your team, and are they in NCEES? Because you can't access the PD office unless you have an account in NCEES. And then what roles can you assign? And they're listed on the left. If the helper is just building out learning opportunities, well, they can just be a course requester. And then who approves those submissions from the course requester? Not the PD office administrator, if that's the only role they have. They must also have the role of final approver. And can I assign these roles to anyone in NCEES in my district? Yes, but you need to think about it. You can give like a lead teacher. Maybe they can be a course requester, but they won't be the one running any reports because they don't have enough access to run reports. People that can run reports are site administrators or district administrators within NCEES, not your district administrator. We have a role that we assign in NCEES called district administrator, and they can run reports. And then can I remove any roles from people? Yes, you can. All right. So we talked about that we have 2 ways of creating learning opportunities in NCEES, 2 different types. One is instructor-led course, and the second is the self-paced learning opportunity. Most of our districts are using the instructor-led course, and it's kind of broken out into 3 parts. You're going to create the CEU shell, and this tells you how many credits you're going to earn, and then what credit type is this course going to earn. And then you're going to set the settings. Who needs to see the course in the catalog? You need to set the location settings. You need to set if you're going to tag standards to this course so you can use that for reporting later. Set all those settings. And then you're going to create a section. Nobody can register for the course until the section is created. And then somebody has to manage the section and mark attendance and completions. It has to be done manually. The self-paced learning opportunity is 2 parts. You're also going to create a CEU shell and set those settings. And then the course is usually in Moodle. It is connected to NCEES. You have to use the Moodle connected inside NCEES. And you set the settings so that they automatically complete the course back to the system. And the system will see a completion and sync it back. We do have an issue with that right now because we are so large statewide. All the completions don't always get completed, but I do have a fix that I run for that. I just need you guys to put in a ticket if it's been too long. If it's been more than 24 hours or 48 hours and your course is not completed from Moodle and you know it's complete, have your leader put in a ticket and we'll run that fix. But that's the 2 different parts. And you're welcome to use Moodle if in the NCEES system. If you're on here from DPI, you're going to use the self-paced learning opportunity, and you're going to connect to DPI's Blue Campus, and because we've started building our courses out in Canvas. All right. So do we have any questions? I think we're doing good. Looks like somebody's getting a little help with logging in the training site. If one of the logins doesn't work for you, just go pick another one and see if it will work. And then maybe list there which one didn't work so I can go look at it. All right, and then we had a new release this year for copy registration link so that when you're creating a course, maybe you just want to invite people to take it. You still have to release your course or you release your learning opportunity, because remember we talked about it didn't have to be really a course. It can be those book studies, those PLCs, anything that the teachers are getting credit for, you can put in here. So what if you don't want to release it to the catalog? Well, you'd release the course, but you wouldn't set any locations. However, you can still come in here under the menu drop down and copy the registration link. Put it in your email, put it in your Google Doc catalog, however you're communicating your course out, you can just paste that copy registration link. And you can do that with it whether you set up self-paced or it will be under the section if you set it up as an instructor-led. So that is awesome. Because now what if your district is offering some summer PD for the whole region, or maybe for your LEAs and want to invite the charters that are in your district? You can copy that registration link, still build out the course in your district PD office, but you can send this to your charter and or vice versa. Charter, if you're holding a session and want to send it to your public schools, copy that registration link, email it to them. They can sign on and participate. All right, let me check on questions before we move on about reviewing the roster. Is there a way that course requesters can reach the registration link after it has been approved? I might need clarification on that question. Is there a way that course requesters reach the registration link after it has been approved? If you've published it, Megan, maybe I think I need a little bit more detail on your question. Do you mean in the PD course catalog? Or if you've not published it? So I just need some clarification on that question, please. All right. So once it's published, I'm gonna have to think about that one, Megan. Maybe we need to take a call on that one and figure out exactly where we need to go, because the link, once you've published it and they've got the registration link, you can actually copy the URL once you're on that page. It's the same as copying the registration link. But so yes, they can still access it, I think. But let's get a call later and we'll talk about that. All right, Kathy. We did go over these buttons last week, and Kathy went over most of them, and I went over one. So we're going to review what we did in part one and then get to the new buttons.
Okay, so remember, there's 3 areas when I'm building a course in NCEES, all of the professional development. I'm looking at that instructor-led course. I've built the shell of the course. I've set the settings, and then I'm going to spend the majority of my time in the roster section with these buttons, because that's how I'm going to manage this course. So just want to review very quickly: add learner, email all, sign-in sheets, and grade and roster. So on the left, if you'll notice, within the sections, which are going to be at the bottom of that shell of the course that you've built, I see all of my sections that I have built within that course. So I'm going to click View Roster. I see the title, I see the section number, the dates, the times, the seat capacity, which I want to monitor very closely for that facilitator to ensure materials are distributed and materials are there for all participants. Released the course means once I release it, anyone can see it within NCEES, within my district, and who I release that to in settings to register for the course. So that information should be very, very accurate, because I just want to remind you, NCEES will generate an email to those participants who have registered for the course as a friendly reminder. So the times, the seat capacity, the titles, that all needs to be accurate. So that's going to be very important, that view roster. So I'd like to talk a little bit about Add Learner, because today we might have some people here online with us today that maybe do not know their UID number. So I can help you register for this particular course by searching your first name or by your last name, and or both, your first and last name. That would truly narrow down the search. I can hit the search tab at the bottom of that screen, and I can add learners. So I can add you to this course. But we encourage everyone to take ownership of this registration process. That's why when you're publishing courses, give plenty of time for your certified staff to register, so that their name, exactly how it is in PowerSchool, and their UID number matches what is on the roster for that particular course. So that's going to be really important. So that's Add Learner, and it's a great feature, and you will use that often.
Okay, and then Add Learner Advanced. This is a way that if you had a list of teachers that you want to take, you don't want to add them one at a time, and you don't want to put it out there for them to register for it. This is a way for you to get them on the roster by using a mass enrollment. So you do need to know either their email address or their username, employee ID. Now for NCEES, the employee ID and username are the same. It is their 10-digit UID. So you could check either one of those and use the UIDs. It doesn't need to match what's in staff UID is what feeds into NCEES. So make sure those UIDs are correct, as well as the email addresses. Email addresses are what is populated from PowerSchool or from HR data, and then NCEES picks it up and imports it in the NCEES system. So those must match for this to work. So do one or other of those. Don't worry about the TNL person ID. Then you need to tell the system, well, what kind of list am I putting in here? Is it separated by new lines, one name on top of each other? Or is it comma separated or tab separated or some other type of separator? And then down below, once I've added the users, what am I doing with them? Am I just adding them to the roster? Or maybe that I'm adding them after an event, but I want it recorded in the system. I can add them to the roster and mark them attended and complete all at one time. If the course had a wait list enabled on it, then you could use the bottom button here and click to add them to a wait list. Do I want to send them an email? Once I've added them here, you can check this box. And then once you've got all your settings on the left, paste your list of people on the right, and then click preview. And it will show you down below, you have to scroll down. It'll preview everybody that you're adding. And if somebody's got an issue with either their UID or their email address, it'll highlight them in red. And then so then you know you need to go check on that person. It's not going to put that person in, but you can always add that person individually later or go back and fix it and then redo the whole setting. All right, we're moving on to email all.
And this is a great feature that I used often as a professional development coordinator because there's always the human factor in delivering professional development. Always a course that we're going to need to change or a room number, the venue might need to change for that particular session. And this is a great feature within NCEES because once our participants have registered, you'll notice the course title up at the top. I might put in the subject, the room has changed, the room number has changed, or it's been canceled. I might write everyone a message there and also I can send that back to me just to make sure, or a principal or a director, just so everyone is on the same page as to what has just happened with this particular session. And then I can even attach a document if I need to. But down at the very bottom, if you'll notice, there is a list of email addresses and the name of all of the participants who have registered, and I can send this email out to everyone who is registered. And I also have an option to send it to just a certain people or to all. So this is just a lovely feature that we found is very helpful. I had a beginning teacher summit last summer where there was a cancellation and it happened that morning, and I could email everyone and just say, make another selection from the catalog and make sure you register and sign the sign-in sheet. And when you go to that session, so they're not sitting in a room waiting for a presenter that had an emergency. So this is a great communication tool, and I think you'll really enjoy this as you're working with professional development. And so again, this is the most sacred document that you're going to be able to keep is that sign-in sheet. And so just as a review, up at the top, you will see here's the name of our course, the section number, the start and end date. I can print this, or I can save it as a PDF and send it to that facilitator so that they will have the sign-in sheets. And the lovely thing about the sign-in sheets is they have the person's name, their position, and their school. Their UID number is not within the sign-in sheet because that's sacred to them. Again, once those sign-in sheets, how you process this in your district or your school, that should come back to the principal or to that professional development director so that that's housed for that 5-year period. Because if I ever need to go back and check on those sign-in sheets and check attendance and verify that, this is the only hard copy that I have. So those sign-in sheets are very sacred and you want to make sure you have those. But it's lovely to have because you have everyone registering for the course and their names are on this sign-in sheet. If their names are not on the sign-in sheet, they were not able to register, and maybe they're registering that day, that's where you could just ask them, please print, because sometimes my handwriting is just not good. And so sometimes you can't read that person's handwriting. So it's nice to be able to print and sign, but ensure and encourage them to please register for this course in NCEES. So the sign-in sheets are a great tool that you're going to have that's generated immediately once someone has registered for the course. And then it's time to complete the course and finish it out. So when everyone has signed in for those for that lovely session, and that you notice up at the top, you have the course number, you have the section number, the date, You have the title of the course. It's time to give everyone a completed credit that have registered for the course. So I can use where it says change all roster status. I can use that drop down box and select from registered to completed. And those are the main ones that I used as a professional development coordinator, so that when you see the actual roster, you're going to see the person's name, their UID number, the school, and the completed credit, which is 0.2 CEU credits, which will immediately populate on their transcripts. Now, just so you know, I'm going to be doing that today. We might have people who register for the course, but for some reason we're not able to attend. So I just take the attendance straight from the GoTo meeting, and I will be able to give everyone that's online today that 0.2 CEU credits. And that's how easy it is, because once it's on the transcript, that's exactly what you're going to use, and a certified person is going to use to monitor their own CEU credits. I know for me personally, DLC is where I need some very specific work, professional growth, and I'm all for professional growth and continuous improvement with digital learning competencies. And so I'm going to take ownership of that as a teacher. And that's just wonderful to be able to see everything that I have been a part of on my transcripts. And for you, whoever is offering this completed credit, which you will do manually, it's a very simple, quick, easy process.
All right, thank you, Kathy. I'm going to out of here just a minute and go over to the training site. This slide here is showing you different definitions for all the buttons that we're looking at today. Just wanted to show you guys where we're looking. And if you want to follow along in your training site, you should be logged in as the principal. You'll see the principal's initials in the little circle there. You need to navigate to System Administration. Get a minute to load up. There we go. And then once you're in System Administration, you're going to see two sections, System Administration and Applications. Under Applications, you're going to find Course Administration. So again, we went to System Administration, and then on the left, we came down to Applications, and we're going to click on Course Administration. Now, once you've been assigned to a PD office, these principals have all been assigned to the same PD office. They can manage the learning opportunities within there. Now, in part one, everybody that joined us created some courses. So we could go search for those courses here. We're not going to go through that now. That was in part one. But we are going to click on the left, Manage Learning Opportunities. Now, if you created a course and you want to search for your course there, you can, because we're going to go manage the courses in just next step. So you can scroll through the list and find your course. Some of you put your initials beside your course. If you did not create a course and you are following along in the training site, just pick any one of these. And we're going to go, I'm going to pick mine here, the Canny Pickles. I'm going to click the button beside the word Manage, and I'm going to click Manage. Now, if you pick a course that doesn't have a section on it, we're going to find that in just a minute. Scroll all the way down, and I see my section that I created. If you get down there, they don't have a section, just come back to Manage Learning Opportunities and pick something else. So now I'm down here at my section. I'm going to click the drop-down arrow again. May need to scroll down a little bit. And I'm going to find View Roster. So we're going to click on View Roster. All right, so now it says I'm on the section roster, and I just scroll down about middle way. I see some buttons, and hopefully some people are on your roster. If not, you can quickly add a learner, just from what Kathy did if you want to play with that. I'm going to go back to the slides, but you're welcome to click on the button as I talk about it to see what it looks like. Sign-in sheets won't populate unless you have your class times in. So if you get over there and it gives you like an error, it's because there are no class times in. But we're going to talk about these other buttons. So let me pop back to the slides. And hopefully it'll load up here in just a second. There we go. I'll let you read over the definitions. We're going to move on in essence of time. So the first button we want to click on is called Edit Attendance. So here you can come in here and you can mark people that they have attended your session. So if it only has one session date, it'll show right here. I put the little arrow here because you can create a course or a learning opportunity that people have to attend, maybe both Tuesday and Thursday sessions. So you can put two sections under there and combine them to apply to this one credit. So maybe they need to be marked attendance at both. So down here, I did do that with this course showing on the screen. I did add 3 sections that they had to, and I told the users, okay, I have 3 sessions and you have to attend at least 2 of them. So I can set this up and say, okay, when I mark these people attended, the next button that we're going to look at is going to tell me if I can complete you if you attended both sessions. But right here, I can manually scroll down, put in my checkbox that yes, this person attended, and no, these 2 people down below did not attend. So I just need to check it. And then there's a save button in the middle of the page. You can also access your manage roster from here to get back to your roster. If you want to go to my sign-in sheet or to print this page here or print a section code, and we're going to talk about that code in just a minute. It's really cool. So here's our next button that I was just talking about. If you created a course that has more than one section that must be attended by people, then you can tell the system that how many sections they must attend to get their completion. So this is autocomplete based on attendance. And you can use it with courses or learning opportunities that just have one section. That's fine. So, but here I wanted to show you how to do it with multiple sections, but just remember you can do it for one section. And we've gone into the roster, we've clicked autocomplete based on attendance. And it says to complete this section, the registrant's attendance must be equal or greater to what number? And pick 1, 2, whatever you set up. And then you're going to click update. And it's going to look through your roster and it's going to find all the people that met these 2 attendances, and they're going to mark completed on their registration status. So that's a quick way to mark them completed by putting in their attendance. Do we have any questions about that? All right. And then what if I need to manage the credits? So I can do that in bulk as well. I did put a little screenshot up here. Maybe I've already completed somebody, I've already updated their credits, and I don't need to update, I need to update everybody else now, but this person's already done. I can go ahead and lock their record before I come in here. So this is a view of the roster, and there's a lock icon, and you can lock somebody that's already completed. And then say, well, I don't want to do one by one. I've got 35 other people on this list. But now everybody else is done, and I can mark them complete or update their credits. So you need to put in the amount of credits they're going to earn. You can't change the credit type, but notice you can change how much you're awarding. So, or just put what the course actually earned, or if it should have been 3, because once you set up your course, you can't change how much credits are earned, but you can update credits in different areas of NCEES. And then notice it says how many learners are you going to update. So it depends on how many more are on the roster that are not locked. Is going to update those. And maybe I need to remove credits from somebody. So I can do that here as well. And it's going to do the same thing, remove credits from people. So just keep that in mind is if you need to update credits later. And maybe I need to export my roster. So there's an export button. And when you click on it, you're going to get another link that says export roster. And then you're going to get an email notice that says this report will be ready, and you will get an email when it's ready. So once you get the email, then you need to navigate back into your NCEES system, go to reporting, scroll down to My Cash Reports, and your report will be there. And you just click the icon to open it and view it. You can always download it after you've opened it. So that's where your roster report would be. This will probably only work for site admin or district admin in the system. Enrollment history. So this is going to tell you what status are the people on the roster. So if I click enrollment history, I can see who has been marked completed, who is not completed. They're still marked as registered. And here's somebody that I'm marked complete, but they haven't done their survey. So this principal needs to complete a survey on their course that they're taking. So it's just a quick way to see what status everybody is in on the roster. You can export it to an CSV or print it to a PDF. If you've enabled Waitlist on your learning opportunity, you can go manage your waitlist. So you're going to click on Waitlist and manage Waitlist. And here is maybe people have all signed up. A couple of people had to drop out because they had some conflict. Well, now you can add people from your wait list to the roster. So you come out here and look at your wait list. There is dates added and times. So if you need to know who signed up first, you can look at the dates and times and put the most recent, the first person that signed in to join the roster and put them on. You have a decision about who to add, but you can look at the times. All right, and then you can always get back to the roster by going to manage roster. All right, and how do I remove participants? There's a couple ways. You can click the remove participants button and it'll come up with a window that says delete participants. And then you can show everybody that's completed or everybody that's registered. You can sort that list by those boxes. I'm just going to leave it, and as the screenshot shows, I can delete everybody on here. Now, if they're completed and I delete them, their earned credit goes away from their transcript because I took them off the roster. So anytime you make changes in the rosters, it affects what shows on the transcript. Registered people don't have anything on the transcript yet, just the completed people. So maybe teacher 2 needs to come off. They're out of the country and they don't have a way to come off the list. You can come in here and check the box and click delete. It will send them a notification email. Down below in the red box is referring to anybody on a wait list. I don't have anybody listed on the wait list here, so you're not seeing any names below. But if you want to email somebody you're removing from a wait list, check the box to send them an email. And then on the right is showing, well, can I do this from my roster? You can. In your roster, there is an action drop down. So you can remove from the roster from there. Or maybe somebody needs to come off your roster and move to the wait list. So 2 choices under the action menu there. And then here's another way to send messages to people. This actually goes to the system messaging system. We have the little envelope icon, if you've been in NCEES, at the very top of your bar to show your announcements and messages. This now also shows on your My Evaluation page any announcements or messages. So here is where you come and click messages, and then you can come in here and you can send manually send them a registration confirmation. They probably already got one when they registered, and the system will tell you the last time they got a registration confirmation. But you can still manually update it as well. You can send a manual section reminder, and once you've marked them complete, the last one will come open, and you could manually send them a course complete email. Maybe you have a follow-up message for people that have completed. All right, and then you just click send message. All right, this is really cool. So name tags, you've got your sign-in sheets. Maybe you need some name tags for today that you're having your event. You can come in here and you click name tags. It gives you a list of your courses. Before then, you click name tags, and then you have an option. I can print table tents. I can have each teacher or each participant a table tent. If I want to include a QR code, we're going to talk about that in just a minute. You can print that. So I have a sample picture there, and it becomes a nice little table tent that they can use their mobile app, and they can actually sign in. And we're going to talk about that in a minute. And then, or I could print name tags, and I need to use one of these corresponding Avery labels or something similar that would fit an Avery label here. 6 pages, 10 labels, 6 labels, 10 labels, or 8 labels. And I have a third option in this section, and that's to export my list, and so I can use it for a mail merge. If I've added a survey to my learning opportunity, I can see survey results. I do not see this button called Show Survey Results unless I've added a survey. So if I have that and I have survey results coming in, then I can click Show Survey Results. I have 2 choices. I can see my course survey completion statuses, and I can see my course survey results. I click on either one of those, and I'm going to get the little screenshot at the bottom of the page. It's going to take a minute to load. If I've done survey completion status, I'll see this page. And down below, you can see person number 2 and person number 3. They have completed their survey. Person number 1 has not, and I'm going to see all this demographic information. They've not completed their survey. Maybe I'll click, I want to see the results of my survey. So if you click the survey results, you're going to get a page like this. And I've condensed it down so it would fit on this screen. But I believe this is the instructor-led course survey. And I'm going to try to get a list of questions for everybody. I don't have all the questions that are on all the surveys. But here's one for the instructor-led survey. The district, choose a role. Everything that's blue is a link. And you could individually click each link and see the answers in each one. But if you want to see all the answers, well, then you can print it to a PDF, and it will give you a multi-page report. It actually puts little graphs in there for you and gives you all the answers that people put in. And of course, you can always return to the roster at the bottom of the list. All right, here's where that QR code comes into play. We've enabled the mobile app. We haven't communicated it a lot. I want to make sure it works, and I've tried it on my phone. It's working pretty good. This can be for the instructor to use, and it can also be for the participant to use. And you must, if you want to use the mobile app, you can do it on Android or iPhone. You can go to the Google the Play Store, download the Performance Matters app. And it'll look like this little screenshot up here, Performance Matters. Underneath it'll say Power School Group. It's not the Power School app, it's the Performance Matters app. And then when you download it, I put a little screenshot of kind of what it looks like. You're going to need a code to put in to then register to use the app. So the code for NCEES is KEXU4S. Those of you that are in the training site, I think they've enabled finally the mobile app in our training site, so you can see this same page. It has this code. The code is actually for production, but we show what it looks like in our training site. There are guides down there on how to use it. So instructors, you'll see on your page, let me see if I got a screenshot. Here we go. So on the right, if you're instructors, you'll have a section that says instructing. If you're attending a course, it'll be kind of reddish yellow here with the letter A, that you're attending a course. If you're attending a course, you can scan the code off your table tent or off a printout on the sign-in sheet. You can put the code on your sign-in sheet. As you're walking in the room, just take your phone, hover over the QR code, and you are signed in and you are marked attendance as you're walking in the door. Or teachers, you can open up your roster and you just click on each box and mark people attended as they're in the room. And then, or under this little drop down, I don't show a screenshot of it, each person has their own QR code. So you could actually use your mobile app to scan people's QR codes as they walk in the door. So however you want to handle it, it's a good way to use a little device to get everybody marked attended for the day. There's more guides in the link at the bottom of the slide. All right, do we have any questions about the roster buttons that I can help with before we move on? Okay, so we're going to go over what do learners see And we have 2 tabs. It used to just be, until this past year, used to just be you went to your professional development tab. But it was getting kind of cluttered and clunky to manage over there. So we divided it out into professional development, where you go search for courses and search for learning opportunities. And then once you've signed up, you can go to My Courses and manage what you signed up for. So we can look at that in the training site. So let me get over there. If you want to follow along, you can go to Professional Development. There may not be many courses out here because this is the training site, but I do want to show you the page. So in the live site earlier, Kathy had you go look for today's course. It is not in the training site, so you can't search for it here. You can do a show all. If you created PD playlists and published them, you could click that and do show all. I don't think we have any in training right now. We might if they're published. So here you can do show all. Before I do that, I wanted to show you that as you create those learning opportunities and you tag them to align to a certain standard, here is where teachers can now come out to this tab. They can say, my goal is for standard 1. What is out there that I can take that's in NCEES? They can come out here, they can click that, and they can click the button that says available. I don't know if we have anything in here in training. Oh, yes, we do. And it'll bring them up a course that shows them that meets that standard. So they can say, oh, I can take this course. So they can register for it, or if it's self-paced, start it and take it. Before I pop back over there, once you're on this page, we have some new refinement areas. So all these refinement areas are here. You can narrow your search down. We did a local district strategic plan. We probably don't have many tagged to that yet. And the digital learning competencies I just put in a few weeks ago, so there's nothing tagged to those yet. But you can tag your creations to any of these focus areas. And let me show you where those focus areas are. So on this side, if you tagged focus areas, then they can come in here and they can expand these and see if there's any courses tied to those. So you can show all. There's a huge long list in the focus areas. So it looks like CTE and the training didn't have anything in training. And that's all on the search page. And then we put some news down at the bottom. Going over to the My Courses page, this is where you're going to live after you've signed up for courses or PD playlists. If my principal has recommended any training from the rubric, and that's another webinar, it shows up in these boxes. Maybe he's required me to take some PD. I can hide any recommended course by clicking on the I. If it's required, I can't hide it. It doesn't force me to take it. The principal can say, hey, it's out there, go take it. But it won't let me hide it. And then any course that I've registered for or I'm working on will show up in the My Courses area. What it will also show up here is not here because I'm not signed up for a playlist or anything. You see playlist here. If I've got a course and I've searched for a course, not sure if I want to take it, there's some little pin icons on your courses. You can pin them and they will show up here as well. So you have a section for my learning opportunities, my PD playlist, and my pinned courses. It's going to show me if any are still in progress with the purple circle or have I completed them. Completed courses eventually go away once they're on the transcript. I think it's like a month or so. They'll eventually come off here so you don't have a list running forever. And then all important here is my transcript. But before we go there, we're going to look at my surveys. If you've assigned a survey and I took a course right here, Make Your Own Cheesecake, it's still in progress, I need to complete the survey before I get my credit. And it tells me, hey, you still have a survey to do. So here I'm going to click on my transcript. We're going to have a webinar on the 27th for teachers. We're going to go through all these steps out here. I think they know pretty well how to do their evaluations. But a lot of teachers have been telling me, hey, I need more guidance on how to navigate NCEES. What else is out there? So we're going to have that on the 27th with NC Learns. Don't know the time yet, so we're going to publish that out just as soon as that gets scheduled. So here's your transcript. If you have a lot like Brunswick County, you might want to set your dates to only look at this year's. Then scroll down. Anything that was entered with a course from the PD office will have a title, the course number, their certificate link, all important there. A lot of people don't know where to go get their certificate. It's on your My Transcript, and there's a link. Anything entered through Transfer Credit Manager shows is not set. It's not a course. You're setting in, just putting in a credit request. It does have the title of what you requested, and it does have your all-important CEUs here and what type, so that it all shows in the summary down below. All right, so that's what people see. If you put notes in or anything when you're searching for courses, all of those show up. I'm just going to do a show all real quick, and we'll move on in just a second. So if I were to click on the title, I have course details, and notice everything that you filled out is going to show here. Okay, all the notes, if it's released, who can take it, who sees it to take it, any standards that it's aligned to. If this was an instructor-led section, I would also have a tab for the section. And then if I've added resources, there would be a tab here for resources. Maybe I'm linking out to another URL or a Google site or something. I can put those under resources. All right. Any questions, guys? We're doing good? Looks like you guys are got a handle on those questions. All right, so you have slides telling you all what people see. Oh, attachments. They can see any attachments except when, oops, let me go back. When you're in a roster, the attached file in the view roster section is only viewable to the teacher that's been assigned, to the creator of the course that's on there, to the office administrator. Those are the only ones. So that's a good place to scan your sign-in sheets and upload them and keep them connected to your course. But everybody else that's taking the course does not see it. If you're attaching a file to the course when you created it, they see that. But if you're in view roster, the attached file is only seen by people managing the course. All right, and I'll let you read through this. There are a lot of emails that go out when you have different activities within the PD office, and this tells you what kind of emails go out. When the course requester puts in a course request, there are emails that go out with that. We just went over the professional development tab and the My Courses tab. And we pause for questions. I don't think we just saw that. All right, then real quickly before we get into Transfer Credit Manager, how can you see a transcript? So because you're a principal today, they can't just go see everybody's transcript. There is a navigation, and I've listed navigation here for how to get to your transcript. Teachers, we just did it. We went to My Courses and then clicked on My Transcript button. Principals, let's go to the training site. Principals, you'll need to go to System Administration. And this is not principals and assistant principals. It's only principals and assistant principals that have site admin access. Head principals, you automatically get that. Assistant principals, somebody has to give it to you. So if you have site admin access, you can click on System Administration and then click on Staff Dashboards right here. Staff Dashboards. So that was System Administration, Staff Dashboards. Let that load up. Let me zoom out just a bit. All right, so I don't have anybody populated here yet. I have different ways to populate people on this page. Did I create a staff group of all my beginning teachers? I could just go here, find my staff group, and load up all my beginning teachers. Do I want to search for staff individually? That's right here. Note on that, it's broken right now. It's going to be fixed in July. So use one of the top two. Browse staff by site or by demographics. We're going to do by site because it's quicker right now. So I just clicked on all my sites. You can actually drill down and just go do a school. But our principals in our training site only have access to 3 teachers. So now I have my list. I can click on a teacher. Scroll over again. If I have a long list here, I can group it by school site by clicking the top box. You see, now I'm in my school site. I'm going to click on a teacher. And notice the information on the right changed when I did that. It went to the individual information tab. And I have several tabs below. I have my information about my teacher. I can look at what learning opportunities they've signed up for. Have they completed? Are they registered? Is it pending completion? I can click on transcript. So here it shows me the transcript. And I can actually navigate to the transcript with the blue button. And there we go. I can see that. So district administrators, you can do that as well. Use that navigation. District administrators can also use system administration. And the principals don't have it, but they would see user administration here, user accounts. And they can go, actually, they have a menu on their people when that loads up to get to the transcript, but it looks different. So you can go view transcript and view courses from the user accounts page if you're a district administrator assigned in NCEES. All right. So quick way to go find those transcripts. All right, we just went through all of that. When you're on your transcript, you can print it. You can email a PDF to somebody if you like. So keep that in mind. Just some slides for you to refer to. Credit types. DPI offers courses that are general, most of them, general credit type. But your teacher needs it to be a DLC or a literacy. Can you edit that in NCEES? Yes, only if you have district administrator assigned rights in NCEES. You'll see an edit button, and your district needs to decide if somebody wants to manage that. So your district approved this person to be a literacy credit, point 1. District administrator will come out and they click edit and they update that. There is a help guide out there for that. All right. Getting ready to go into transfer credit manager. Don't see any questions. All right, so we're going to learn how to navigate transfer credit manager and those roles and how to get them and entering those credit requests. So just real quick, here are the roles within transfer credit manager. I do have to set most of the roles. So you can email me or you can put in a ticket with the support and we'll get those roles assigned. Your principals in the training site do have the transfer credit manager so that they can both enter requests for other users. Down here, new credit request for another user. They can enter their own requests, my requests. They can manage bulk requests. And then they can overall manage requests. So do not configure emails on this page. You'll see that link, but that is DPI settings and it is statewide. And then approval request administration, that shows everything in the state and shows which requests need further attention. It does take a while to load. There are filters because in Transfer Credit Manager, there are some pages that you only see your district and other pages where you're going to see the whole statewide. So you do need to filter down to entries that you've put in or filter by location so that you see only your location. All right, and then we just talked about how to get the roles so that you can manage requests or manage bulk requests, or you can be an approver. So I can set people to just be an approver, And what that's going to do is your teachers currently have the ability to click on my request and put in a request, but it's not going to go anywhere until you have an approver in your district. It's just going to sit out there. So if you want to find out if you've got requests out there, email me. I have run a report showing which districts have requests out there, so we can check on that for you, and maybe you need an approver out there, or maybe you're not going to use that and just let your teachers know, don't put any more requests in. So, and then we have the managed bulk request, which is putting in an event and giving people credit in bulk. So there's the information on how to put in those requests for the roles. And there's a list of emails that go out as things are done. This slide, I have given you a link to the help guide. So it is out there. So here's your help guide, transfer credit manager for administrators. The very last couple of pages, or you could copy, and if you are allowing your teachers and counselors and support staff to enter my request for you to approve, there is in this guide how they can enter my requests. All right, so we're going to turn it over to Kathy, and she's going to walk us through entering a new request for another user, and we will be in the training site.
So I really loved using Transfer Credit Manager as a professional development coordinator, and I just want to encourage you that you know, when you're thinking about, for example, and I know that Cammie's going to be talking about bulk, when you're just going to enter as a bulk and you're thinking about all of those wonderful certificates that are coming in from the Friday Institutes and all of this wonderful virtual learning that our teachers have this opportunity to earn these CEU credits. This is a wonderful way to just go ahead and process those wonderful certificates. But let's just say a teacher had an opportunity to, I don't know, go to Hawaii for professional development, and they bring back a certificate. What can you do with that certificate so that those credits, those CEU credits, will show up on that same transcript with everything that's happening at their school, as well as with everything that's happening within your district? Well, you go through Transfer Credit Manager. So we're going to do that today. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take a teacher from that training site, that training account, and we are going to select a teacher to add a certificate. And so you'll see Cammie is just cutting and pasting off the training account, and you can be doing that too. And then you're going to go to the left, and you'll see where it says new credit request for another user, because I want to enter this for this particular teacher. So I'm going to tap on that link to the left hand side of my screen, and I'm going to just cut and paste that training teacher that we have in place. And I'm going to hit the create button, and
well,
I can
give it a minute. You got to give it a minute to load up. So you can just
yes.
put in the last name. It does load up a list of names. If you have a lot of people with the same last name, put in their last name, comma, space, first name. All right, and then you can pick the teacher that you want to put in there.
And then you create, once you have that little check mark, you can create that button and press the create button, and that will take you to the next process when you are, you know, awarding those CEU credits that our teachers work so hard for. So this is where we're going to take the certificate, and we're going to enter some very specific information, because again, it needs to be accurate because it's showing up on that transcript. So right from that certificate, I am going to enter, and today that teacher went to, I don't know, Hawaii, to learn how to use Play-Doh to strengthen their teaching. So that's going to be my event title. Now you can make that whatever you want to make it in your training site, but with my two little precious granddaughters, I can't wait. I think of Play-Doh all the time. And that description is going to be reducing and relieving stress during this remote learning time. So again, the course title, use Play-Doh to strengthen your teaching, and a little description that's right off of that wonderful that certificate, reduce and relieve stress of remote learning. And so I just want to have that little description because, again, this is where it's going to house everything for the teacher. I always put the start and the start date on that, so you can see everything with the asterisk I want to include. So we are going to say that happened on March 13th, and that person completed that course by March the 15th. And I want to just use that little drop down date, and hopefully you're doing that as well in the training site. The person for this course received 25 hours. So I'm just going to type in 25 because that was the actual seat hours that they attended. But according to the description of this course, that person also could receive multiple areas of CEU credits. And so, for example, for those 25 hours, academic subject, I can award 1.0 academic subject according to the criteria in the course. I can move down to 1.0 literacy, lots of reading, lots of writing, lots of ways to use that. And we even had some DLC credits of 0.5. Now notice that's equivalent to 2.5, which would equal and equate to the 25 seat hours. So again, if I wanted to attach that actual certificate, I can just click attach instead of those certificates just kind of hanging around out there getting lost. I can attach the certificate that the teacher has submitted, and then any type of approver signatures that need to happen there, and submit for credit approval. And so I tap that button and I tap there, and I notice that this is the next area that comes up. Now I can actually put in a very described description of the CEUs that were awarded, or I don't have to add anything there. We're going to hit submit because that certificate and the course catalog, whatever was submitted, gave me everything that I needed. So if you'll notice up at the top, it says pending credit approver, and our principal is now going to have the opportunity to approve. So if you'll notice right there, our principal one is the approver for that particular teacher. And of course, they probably allowed that teacher and encouraged the teacher to go to that specific event. There are all the details. Hopefully that information is very, very accurate. Our teachers do a great job keeping up with that. And this is where we're going to just go ahead and process to where it populates on the transcript. So I'm going to click on the box to the left, literacy, and over where it says CEUs, it was 1.0. That was 10 hours. Click on academic subject, 1.0. And then DLC credit, 0.5, which equates to that 25 hours. And if something happens and there's an error, the system will not allow you to go on. And human factor, and that would be me, you know, there's room for error, but the NCEES system typically catches that. So I can approve that particular course in Transfer Credit Manager, and
yeah, so now here you can put in that it is approved and submit it, and just leave it blank.
That's right. And I hit submit. And the great thing about this is now everything is housed in NCEES. There's documentation, but everything as far as, and I am a teacher that monitors my transcripts, everything that I am taking truly is right here in NCEES, from a certificate to this particular certificate, to my CEU credits, to what I need for my license renewal in that 5-year period. and what I need for literacy, because I am a K-6 teacher, what I need for literacy, academic subject, and DLC. So this is just again, a great way to manage those certificates that are coming in from all different places, but we want to honor that time that our teachers put forth in earning these precious CEU credits. So,
Okay. So, and if you want to check, do you want to try to check it and let the principal check it? So, do you remember how to get to transcripts for the principal? Oh, I got a spinning circle here. Hang on. Don't know why we're spinning. You click on System Administration, and you go to your staff dashboards. And I'm just going to browse by site, do all my sites, and look at my teacher that just got that credit awarded. Go to their transcript, and I should see our new one. Let me see. There it is, using Play-Doh to strengthen teaching. And let me zoom out a bit. And there's all the credits that we awarded. So they did get their credits immediately on their transcript.
and which you will receive today. And I want you to notice, remember what Cami was saying with the surveys. Again, the surveys are not set, and that's why you're seeing that, when you're entering it through Transfer Credit Manager. But notice the dates, and especially with the transcripts, and everything is housed right here. And it's so convenient and so easy to use.
Yes, thank you, Kathy. I do have a couple questions that maybe we need to discuss a little bit at this time. So I've got two questions concerning third-party systems. So one is, our district tells us to submit all credits through Timekeeper and select certificates. Could I do it through here? Yes, follow what your district is doing, because many districts are currently using other systems. So if your district wants you to do it through here, you need to have an approver in NCEES to be able to approve any credit requests in here. And then the second question is, so we currently use Link to enter our CEUs. Will this take the place of that? No, and I'll caveat that with, we're talking with modernization as it goes through, and a lot of you principals on here or superintendents maybe have heard about modernization in DPI, and they're moving toward getting a single area to house all this information. And they've said that HRMS will be going away. Eventually, it's going to be a little slow process. They are very close now, so maybe just another year or a year and a half. But currently, it could take the place of Link. It's up to your district. So, but you have to remember that only people that have access to NCEES will have their credits in here. And that's going to be most of your certified staff. Certainly all of your certified teachers, counselors, anybody like that. There may be a few lingering certified staff that are not in here, but the majority of certified staff are in NCEES. And I think Brunswick County, and Kathy can speak to that, they house a lot of their PD, all of their PD, right, Kathy, in Brunswick, and kept up with credits.
We did everything within NCEES. So, but it is a journey, and I think you have to make the decision. If you're using one system, it's but it's easy to kind of phase out and move right into NCEES, joining those CEU credits, and then just truly being committed to what you're using, so that it's a very easy process for our certified staff to follow for their transcripts, but also for that professional learning, all the professional learning opportunities right here in one place. I think that's the beauty of what NCEES offered our teachers.
Yep. And we're going to look at bulk next. So that's going to be, we're going to have a little discussion on that. So we do, the credits that are in NCEES can feed to HRMS right now, but we had this question last time. It doesn't feed like to Link yet. So I don't know if it will. I am working with modernization to see what those next steps are, but currently it will only feed to HRMS. We do have a couple districts that have gone fully or starting to go fully into NCEES. And you just have to make a plan. How far back do you want to enter stuff? So I would only go a year or two back and then tell everybody that, hey, moving forward, everything will be in NCEES. But I would not enter like the past 8 years of credits that people have. I would start a couple of years or maybe a year back and then move forward. So make a plan if you think this might work for you. Kathy and I love working with NCEES, and we think it's an awesome area to keep this information. So the next area we do want to look at, I hope that answers your questions. Do put update questions if you have additional questions. Let's go back to Transfer Credit Manager. And we're going to look at putting in bulk requests. So bulk requests are a little different. You're actually putting in an event. And how many of you out there have a lot of teachers that are taking maybe some MOOCs from Friday Institute, or they're all going to the same event? How do you get that into NCEES? They're all bringing you their certificates. They've been approved, pre-approved. They're followed up. They're done now. I like that course right there. How to be a quarantine queen. I just saw that. I like that. How to be a quarantine queen. Good one. I don't know who put that in. But you can put the event in with the manage bulk request. It is a separate access right from just managing requests. So I'll need to put you into both areas if you need to put in events. So to do that, you're going to create the blue button that says create new bulk credit request. So you're going to click on that. And notice it's the same form that Kathy just walked you through. So there's a reason why some of these forms are here. It's because if a person is entering a My Request, if you're entering a bulk request, or if you're entering a request for another user, you have the same form. All right. So in anything that's required has a red asterisk beside it. So we're going to do a new bulk request. And maybe we're going to do, let's do a MOOC. So you can make up whatever you want to do. If you want to follow along, I'm going to do MOOC, Outstanding Teacher Practice. And I have several teachers that have turned in that they've completed this. And so they're all completed it within the last month. So if you want to keep record for each individual teacher, you might want to do this differently. But I'm just going to pick a date to do the date started and date completed in just a minute. So I'm just going to copy this and paste it into my description because it is required to. Notice you can make it all pretty if you want. That's up to you. I'm just going to paste it in there. And then we're just going to do date started and date completed. Maybe I told them to have all your certificates in by the 8th, so I'm just going to use the 8th. And then how many hours was that MOOC? Maybe it was just a 2-hour course. And maybe this was about leadership, so let's do point 2. I'm scrolling past technology just to let you guys know technology is going away this summer. It should have gone away a couple of years ago. I was told a few years ago. Districts were still using it. We're just going to hide it so that people's transcripts remain with their technology credits. Can your district administrator update those? Yes. Go ahead and do that if you want to. You do not have to do that. But this is going away because now we have DLCs and we have literacy, and you can decide where a technology piece fits in that. All right, and then if I'm entering my own request, this is where you decide as a district, do you want to request your teachers to attach files? Since I'm doing a bulk event, I am not going to attach any files or approval signatures. So that's why these areas are not required in the system. And now, this is a little different from what Kathy did. I don't have to go to another page to approve the credits. So I requested them up here, point 2 of leadership. And now I'm going to say, well, where does it actually apply? And so I'm going to stick with digital learning competencies, and I'm going to do point 2. And then I'm going to apply. I don't need an email to anybody, so I'm going to submit. And notice that this is approved. I've got a green thumbs up, but I don't have any recipients. So who's going to get this, this credit? So we click on the recipients tab. All right. And so it has search name over here, but there's nobody's name listed because I haven't added anybody yet. If I had a big long list and I wanted to search for somebody, then I would use my search name field. Let's click over to click add recipients. And remember earlier we talked about adding recipients advanced or adding in the roster. It's the same thing. So you could do a bulk list with advanced. I want to add recipients individually. So we're just going to go to add recipients. And notice I do get a list. So I can just come in here and check who I want to be, who brought me a certificate. So just come through here and pick a few. They all brought me a certificate. I can add selected. If I have more than one page, I can go to another page. I can find the people there. I can't search up here to find people individually. I just need to add them and then go search for the next one. And when I'm finally done with everybody, I'm going to close it. So now I have recipients, and they already have this on their transcript just that fast because I've already approved the credit. Okay. All right, so I'm going to close. And when I close it, it shows up on my Manage Bulk Request page here. And this is one of those pages where you're going to see other district information. So this is Brunswick that we're seeing down here. So maybe I only want to see what I added to the list. I need to go maybe fix something or return this to pending and fix the credits. You can return what you've opened in the pending. Under the drop down, you can view it. You can archive it so it's no longer on this list, but you can see it on the archive list. I can add a filter. I don't want to search archive, so I'm going to leave that as no. I do want to see updated by. I want to see what was updated by me. So I'm going to put my last name in, and in here I am 010304-train. And hit enter on my keyboard, and there's what I've entered so far. So that's how you can narrow down this page to only see what you're entering. You can see I have a recipient count here. I can actually go to the course title. There's just anything that's blue is going to be a link. And there I go. Let's see my results. So do we have any questions about putting in an event? So just put your thinking caps on. What all can you put in there? If you could also put this in your PD office, you could put a MOOC over there and just keep adding people to the roster. And then they do get all a certificate and all that on their transcript. This way it will go on the transcript, but it doesn't give them a certificate. All right, I see a question. If someone turns in their certificate after you have added other people, can you add a new one? I believe so. So let's go check. All right, so I'm going to come to recipients. So I just clicked on the title. I already awarded 7 people these credits. And I still have my add recipients button. And when I come here now, I can see that these people I've already added because their box went away. So maybe this person has now turned in a certificate. I can add selected, and I can click close. There we go. Now I have 8 people on there. So yes, you can do that. All right, and then I didn't have it on the agenda, but I did want to show you real quick what the teachers see when we go to Transfer Credit Manager. So I want to click back here. They will not see any of these links. They only get My Request. It actually goes straight to the My Request page. And they would come out here. They have tabs for their pending requests. If they're denied, they'll be here. If they're approved, they'll be on the second tab. There have been approved to some credits. If anything's been archived, it'll be over here. Don't have anything archived yet. But I have a button for new requests. I have to choose new credit requests. And again, you have that same form, so we won't walk all through that. But this is where you need as a district to decide, are you going to require any of these fields down here? And it does have to be digital. So you're going to either have to take a picture or have their completion certificate digitally to be able to attach these files here and then submit for approval. All right. So then you can always come back to the Manage Request page and view it or archive it. I'm clicked on this one to show you that when I scroll down, I can return this back to pending. It will let them know that it's returned to pending because we're in training, maybe. There we go. And see my green thumbs up went away. Maybe this was only 20 hours. I can change it and then come down here and change my credits. So just let you know that you can go fix things if they were entered incorrectly. It will tell you, though, when you put in the wrong number of credits for the number of hours, I believe. All right, so that's Transfer Credit Manager. It is 2:35, and we're going to be done at 3, so we want to go look at PD playlists. Let me pop back to the slides just a minute. Being slow today. All right, so let me scroll through these. All right, so we're going to look at navigating a PD playlist, talk about PD playlist roles and how to get them, and then create a PD playlist. Again, I have to assign the initial PD playlist moderator. I can also assign curators. You just need to let me know who needs to be in there. Once the moderator is there and they start creating playlists, they can actually add additional moderators on the playlist itself. Or they can add a curator on the playlist itself. Or if you've got somebody you want to set as a credit approver. I don't know if many people currently using this are using credit approvers, but you can use that. And then, of course, you've got your participants. This guide on this page is a link, and the link at the top, the blue PD playlist creation guide, that's a link, will take you to our guide for this. And just to show you what we're going to see over there, here is a playlist. It has several courses. And if I look at the color, the green ones are electives. The blue ones, dark blue ones, are required courses. So you can tell the system that I have this whole playlist. I want 2 of these to be required. I want 4 of these to be elective. And then you can set a rule that they must complete the 2 required and 2 of the 4 elective courses. So that will show as well. All right, and again, you can put in a ticket or email me directly about getting a playlist role if you don't already have one. So let's go over to our training site. And the principal has a playlist here. And I don't know if I've mentioned, but if you're zoomed in or zoomed out, things fall off the page. They will go under the little arrow over here, just to let you know. Oh, they do have the mobile app out here now. Yay. But here's PD playlist if I'm zoomed out. If I'm zoomed in, ooh, went too far that way. Yep. So I've had tickets before that says my black bar has disappeared. It's because you're zoomed. All right, so we're going to go to PD playlists. And on this page, notice you can manage PD playlists. In this first tab, you can see all your PD playlist participants on the left. And on the right, you'll see more of your PD playlists if I'm participating in any. And then any activity that's happening with my playlist will show over down at the bottom. So what we're going to do is actually look at creating a playlist. So we're going to click the blue button. So I'm going to stop before we get into that because I saw a question that we can answer real quick. If you put CEUs in here, do they automatically transfer to HRMS? Yes, but your HRMS lead needs to go in there. And I have under the resources, there is a slide that takes you to the HRMS site and shows you where the guide and the video are for how to reconcile the credits that come from NCEES to what's already in HRMS, because you may have duplicates coming over. It all needs to be reconciled, but it does automatically go. Great. All right. Thank you for that question. Good question. All right. So we've clicked on Create PD Playlist. So we just need a title. So what are we going to have on our PD playlist? Let's do one for, let's do residency license. That's the lateral entry teachers, I believe. I got to learn my other side of things. Residency license PD playlist.
You're correct. Thank you.
And so I'm going to put my initials here so I know this is my list since I'm in training. And I'm going to click Create. All right, so I get a form. So here's my title, and notice it is required. It does have an asterisk. I can put in a description. I don't have to, but you can. You can make it pretty. What date is this starting? I'm going to say it starts. Let's say it starts today, and I want it to go all the way through the end of next year. My calendar changes sizes when I change months. All right, that's all I go through. Let's go through June. All right, so this is the playlist for this upcoming school year. Let's do that. All right. All right. Do I want to include it in the course catalog? All right, so you need to think about this one, because this is the one issue I kind of have with PD Playlist, is if you're going to publish it to the catalog for people to go out and register for, it does show to everybody in the state. So when you're naming this, make sure you put Johnston County, Brunswick County, Wake County. Make sure you put it on there because everybody can find it. Most people are not publishing it to the catalog, but if you choose to do so and tell your people to go out there and find it and register for it, perfectly fine. We are working with the vendor. They said it was a very good suggestion that it didn't show to everybody if you didn't want it to. So it is on the enhancement list. If you include it in the course catalog, when can they start joining the playlist? So you need to put in a date. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. I think they can start joining. I don't know if I'm backdated. There we go. And then maybe I do not want to allow the participants to join, but they can see it out there and they can request for me to add them. So that's a choice there. And then this certificate is for the playlist. It's not for all the courses that we're going to add in a couple minutes. This certificate is for the playlist. So if you want to give them an extra certificate, they will get each certificate for completed courses out there. But if you want to give them a playlist certificate, you can enable that. And then moderators. I'm already on there because I was initially set by DPI to be the moderator, but I can add other people to help me moderate this playlist. And again, you can search for names or you can just add somebody. And this again is statewide, so be careful who you're searching for. Use your filters, use anything that can narrow that down for you. So getting a frog in my throat, I'm sorry. Curators. So curators, moderators can manage everything in this playlist, discussions, notifications. Curators can only add or remove participants. Everything else is read only. Okay, so curators, maybe I want help adding people because I'm not putting this in the catalog. So who's going to be my curator? Let's pick somebody and add a curator. And then do I need to attach any files? Maybe I have some additional information, guidelines, you need to go read this book, whatever, some kind of material, you can attach that. And then since I'm enabling the certificate, do I want to give them extra credit for completing this playlist? Even if I don't enable a certificate here, I can give them extra credit for completing the whole playlist. So that's up to you. You can just put it in. I'm not going to put one in, but it's the same thing. You're just going to put in how much can they earn extra just for completing a playlist. All right. And then this does have to be submitted for approval. So I'm going to uncheck that. And then the moderator can approve that, or the approver can approve that. And then we're going to click save. Click save. I stay on the page. So this, if I need to review this. All right. So I click save because I want to go to the next tab. I'm not going to add participants now. I actually want to go add some courses to my playlist. So let's go to courses. All right. So the button for that is on the far right. Before I click on that, notice on the far left, am I going to allow participants to add courses? Most of the time, I would think not, but that's there in case you want to. I'm going to click add courses. Now, there's not many courses published in our training site. There's actually 3. So we're going to choose, I'm going to choose 3. I'm going to see if I can get some more published for you guys to choose from. But we're going to add those 3. All right, so I'm done adding courses. I'm back on my tabs. So before I come off this page, are all these going to stay as required courses? Or maybe I want to make 1 required and 2 of them electives. And that's fine. So they at least have to take the required one, but maybe I want them to take more than that 1 course. So maybe they need to take at least 1 of those electives. So I'm going to scroll down here and I'm going to say users must complete any 1 of the 2 electives. All right. All right. So then we're ready to go, I believe. All right. And then the other tabs out here, just to look at them before we go on, is your discussion tab is next. You don't have to hold discussions. Somebody has to moderate those discussions, and that's going to be the moderator. The curator can't moderate discussions. It's got to be somebody with moderator abilities. So maybe you want to add just a moderator to come out here and manage any discussion topics. You can add topics out here by clicking Manage Topics. You can turn threads on and off. You can create a new topic. And click Create. And now you have a new topic. You can turn it on or off. Actions over here. You can rename it. You can archive it. You can delete it. All right. You can click Done if you want to. You can move on to the next tab if you want to. So the reason I didn't add participants is maybe I want them to get an email that they've been added to the list. So I'm going to check this box. I'm going to say, put my title in. Put a message. All right, and then decide how I'm going to send it. Is it going to be an announcement? So it shows up in the announcements, the little envelope up here will also show up on their My Evaluation page with the My Announcement channel. I can send it just by email. Who do I want the email to come from? Me, the moderator, or from just PowerSchool so they aren't replying back to me? You can use that. You can do both, email and targeted announcement, and you still have the choices. And then just click Save. And then the same thing to send a message when they're complete, same steps. All right. So now let's go add participants. So when I'm adding participants, first I have to decide, can they do anything up here? Can they hide the participant list? Can they allow participants to invite others? Or do I want to hide the participant list? That's for me to hide. Do I want to allow them to invite others? And then do I want to, if I've added them, allow them to withdraw if they don't want to do it? So you decide if you want to use any of those. So let's go edit participants. So if you can add dynamic roles. So if you have staff groups, you can add your staff group here. Maybe you have a staff group already created in NCEES for those residency licensed teachers. Maybe you want to add a dynamic criteria, and we won't go through all this because it will take too long, but come out here and play with it. You can come out here and look at demographics. Maybe I want to add everybody that is a school social worker, and then I would add them. So there's just different areas out here, admin types, current staff position. To let you know, everybody in NCEES either comes in as instructional or administrative. So your principals, your superintendents are all administrative. Your teachers, your counselors, everybody else is instructional. Do not change that in NCEES. It's done like that on purpose. Okay. And then role. So we kind of looked at that a minute ago with the role. Oh, these are the roles that we've been assigning. Maybe I want to give this as a playlist for all my office administrators. Custom fields I've never used, so we'd have to talk about that and see if we can use that for you guys. Or maybe you just want to assign it by site. Maybe it needs to go to just one school. Everybody in that school needs to take this playlist. So that's what that is. I'm just going to close that out. Can I manually add members? Yes. So you can add members here. There's the advanced to do the bulk, or add the user to get a search list. All right, so I only have access to my people, so that's what I'm seeing. Thankfully, this is not statewide. So I'm just going to add my teachers and my principal to this list. Click add. And now they've been added. I can exclude them from the list. Crosses them out. I can actually take them off the list. All right. And I can clear any manual overrides. If I had clicked this, I can clear all those overrides. All right, and then one more thing. Oh, you can download a CSV if you have a large list here. One more thing we need to do is to go back once we've added our participants. And I don't remember if I mentioned this Tuesday, but you have to release your list for it to be able to be used. So make sure once you're ready with your list, you release it. Are you sure you want to release it? I'm going to say yes. It tells me it's activated. And there it is. Now, there was one more tab we didn't talk about. It brought me back to this page. But remember, anything that's blue is a link. And so, just to show you what's in the drop down, you can copy this playlist and create a new one. You can delete it or you can hide it. So I'm going to click on the name because we didn't talk about this last tab. It's the status. So once these participants start taking the playlist, then they'll show up here. They've not started anything yet, so nothing is showing, but they're either going to show as not started, in progress, or complete. Once they're out there and they're on the playlist, you'll see those progress icons. It's a quick way to look at each course. Notice I have a column for each course to show me the status for each one. All right, so that's PD playlist. Do we have any questions about the PD playlist? All right, and there, look, it showed me my new activity that's been going on in PD playlist here. You can hide PD playlists. Okay. But if you want to see them again, just click View Hidden. There it is. And unhide it. So now it's back on my dashboard. There we go. All right, so if we don't have any questions, we're going to go back to the slides. We only have, let's see, got a few more minutes. All right, so I hope you got a lot out of today's session. Kathy wants to talk to you about the upcoming school year. So we'll go to her slide and turn it over to Kathy.
So if we could just look at this slide very quickly, just want you to know that this is a journey. When you're thinking about professional development and how efficient the professional development is for your certified staff and that turnover when we're looking at that 5-year license renewal, prepare yourself for this journey. All and everyone in your district will need to be on board. In part 1, we talked about a Google form that was created, and just please know you can use that Google form and modify that so that maybe this summer at your administrative meetings you can just discuss this process of what NCEES looks like. Maybe even listen to some of these recordings, maybe even create a playlist for those directors in those departments so they can just understand this is what NCEES, this is where we're opting in to use the professional development that's housed right here. And that's so easy to use. Just know that when and the most important thing that you can really share with everyone as you're training people, especially administration and principals, registration is going to be the key. Taking ownership of my professional learning, connecting this with my PDPs is what's going to be crucial, because it is all about choice. It is all about differentiation. Just like what we offer our students, we want to offer continuous improvement with our teachers. So when you have that Google form and you're sharing that out and you've created that specifically for your district, think about all of your department chairs. You're from CTE to Fine Arts to EC to Title I to all your principals, and share that form out and what specific professional development are they going to offer within their departments for this upcoming school year. Maybe it's lesson planning. Maybe it's reading research to classroom practice. Maybe it's a book study at a particular school. Maybe it's a beginning teacher playlist. So just think about what, professional development, so that when they are submitting that form, everything is on one spreadsheet. And just remember, always have a deadline, and just have that deadline so everyone, you're sending out those friendly reminders, because we're all about customer service here in professional development, that there is a deadline because we need to build the courses in NCEES. So once you have those courses and everything's submitted on that form and that spreadsheet, you can start cutting and pasting and building the shell, connecting those with your settings and standards, and then building those sections. And once that's released, once your catalog is released, once you have that session number, that course number, once you have that copy registration link, you can send that out. A CTE director might want to send that out specifically to everyone he or she wants to take those particular courses, so that teachers have plenty of time for registration, and registration is crucial. So that time to allow teachers to do that is going to be awesome. Then always along the way, I always say 80% review, 20% new, and that's me and my human factor in how I live my life. So give explicit directions over and over again how to access transcripts, what that looks like, how to take ownership of the transcripts. And have a website where you're offering a calendar of events, what it looks like for each department, how many CEU credits teachers are going to need on that 5-year renewal cycle. And then just remember, prior to that event, prior to, now that you have this release, now that you have teachers that are registering, prior to the event, make sure that you send those sign-in sheets to the facilitator so that they will have the opportunity to send that back to whomever they need to get that to, that designated role. And then once the event is over, process those CEU credits just as soon as possible so that the turnaround is quick and efficient. And with everything being so organized in NCEES, it will be easy to do that. So not months later, but just whatever that looks like for you. Very quick and efficient so that I, as a teacher, can truly monitor my professional growth in learning. So it is a journey, but we're here to help you. So I know it's 3 o'clock, so please know that we're here. We're going to stay online for quite some time, and we're here to answer any questions. We're going to unmute everyone so that we can answer your questions and we can just have this healthy discussion. And then we're here to serve you. So please know we're here to answer any of your questions and just to encourage you through this process as much as needed.
Thank you, Kathy. And I know some of you have to leave. I'm just going to go real quick over the resource slides, just a minute if you want to hang on a minute, and then we're going to unmute everybody. There is, if you want to know about reporting for PD, Sean Vare, my customer service support with PowerSchool, has done a really good recording for PD reporting. I've put several slides out here for your resources of what is in NCEES for reporting. District administrators can publish ad hoc reports to site administrators and other district administrators. Here's that TNL to HRMS credit transfer slide. And then read over things to remember. If you're taking DPI courses, they are free. And you can offer yours in there as well for local. Here's our NCEES Google site that Kim Simmons has built out for us and has done an awesome job. You can find our additional webinars, beginning of year teacher orientation for the summer. As we figure out what that's going to look like for next year, just stay tuned and we'll keep that updated. Kim does have a webinar at the end of the month for the APs that are new. I believe they have their final webinar on May 26th. They've had a several session series that's been really awesome. And then again, I've put a list here for the teacher session on the 27th, maybe on the 28th. I don't know exact dates and times yet, but we'll get that communicated out hopefully within the week. And make sure your staff are updated in UID. That's for your administrators. If you need time with me, I have calendar schedules on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Please do select a time. If those days don't work, you guys can always email me or email Kathy. Kathy's awesome, wants to help with PD, and we'll get on a call with you and walk you through things. And then here's our information. So I'm going to go ahead and unmute everybody. I will be stopping the recording in just a second. So unmuting everybody, and then you guys can self-mute or unmute as needed. But thank you so much for attending today. Thank you, Kim and Kathy. You've done awesome today, keeping those questions down and presenting with me today. So I appreciate that. And thank you to all our attendees. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording and we can talk.